Hi, my name is Foad Asadi. I'm the director and producer of The Messenger.
I'm Raymon Chow, the assistant director and co-editor.
I was always into discovering unknown and unseen, and after making this documentary, many questions raised to my mind. I hope you like and enjoy watching the documentary. I've always been a skeptic, but there are still many things in this world for which we lack answers. We don't know who we are, what we do, and where we go. Yet some people claim to have the answers. They believe they are gifted with the ability to see the unknown, a belief that has persisted for thousands of years. Hi, how are you doing?
Nice to see you
Nice to see you again.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Deborah Savoy. I am a spiritual medium and energy healer. I have been in practice my whole life, but professionally for over 10 years. I live in Ottawa and have a practice here in my office. I see, feel, and hear something that's otherworldly, that's not, that you can't like physically see in this life.
Are you happy that you're gifted?
I love it. I love it. I feel that it is probably one of the most beautiful things that I could be doing with my life, to be able to, to be able to help people differently than guiding them and helping them understand that they're more than just this human experience.
Yeah, I got it. Do you need any?
At first, I thought she became a bit emotional because of my question. But after she burst into tears, she revealed that her emotions were stirred because of me. She explained that she suddenly found herself immersed in my feeling through my eyes, and the wave of profound sadness overcame her.
So what do you think generally about cemetery? Do you normally go to the cemetery?
No, I don't, because they're not here. The energy of the people that we love are not here, and so it ends up being a place. I'm sorry, I've got to stop.
Why?
There's energy coming from this one.
This one?
I feel like there's 5 people perhaps in here. I don't know if there's 2 names and then it looks like more names at the base of it. Yep, there's more than us. There's way more. That man was killed differently than most. Something tragic happened to him, and I don't know what it is. Spirits that are earthbound, which means they haven't crossed over, that they're still feeling all their human emotions, even though they're not in a body, are very irritating. And the darkness can be very irritating. So people who live in a haunted house will feel very tired. They sometimes will have very difficult mood swings. They might be totally fine when they're out and about, and then they come into their space and they're...
Sorry, that's okay.
The camera didn't work. Deborah seemed distressed, and simultaneously the camera behind her ceased recording. Curious about the sudden interruption, I asked her what happened.
I felt this very tall kind of energy with a hat. I don't know if it was because we were talking about dark energy, whether or not, I mean, this place is very, very protected. Didn't feel like it just felt like it just wanted to show up and listen. That's how it felt.
So far, I'm still not quite convinced of Deborah's abilities. To further test her skills, I asked if she could conduct spirit readings on strangers.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. We're doing a documentary, and I was wondering if I could read you. Would you?
You know what?
You're uncomfortable with that?
Two things, and then I'm also on my lunch break.
Oh shit, okay. 2 months is gonna be good for you in 2 months.
Okay.
Just remember that, okay? Big changes, so I don't know what's
Despite many
going
attempts,
on, 2 months.
many denied Deborah's reading.
No problem.
That was until
I feel like you recently may have had a loss.
Yes.
And it's a male energy.
Yes.
Because he just is so proud of you and everything that you've been through. And how you protected him. I don't know what that means, but he's saying, you protected me, and I'm so grateful that you did that.
Our son passed away 5 years ago today.
No.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, this is him.
Oh, sweetheart.
And the fact that you called us is just...
Oh, that was him. Here's what I want to say to you. This is from him. Don't live in my shadow. He's with you. Don't ever think he's not. And do you wear his baseball cap?
This is a company I made out of him. That's his name.
Okay, that's his. Oh, no kidding. Holy shit, because he's like, you got to do the cap. You got to do the cap. Oh, I'm so happy.
while Deborah's reading raised many questions in my mind, she then requested to conduct a reading on me.
I believe in reincarnation, and I believe in past lives. So you were a woman, and you had a connection to Egypt. Did you injure your foot? Do you have a roommate? It's a male energy that comes to visit often. Do you like cheesecake? Did you just welcome
Deborah attempts to uncover more information about my past and future. And while some aspects of her reading resonated, I couldn't confidently confirm their accuracy. To assess her abilities further, I provided her with a photo of my recently deceased relatives.
I'm getting a lot of throat energy from him and intestinal. So I don't know if he struggled with communicating towards the end, but there's something going on here.
Intestinal?
And intestinal, yeah. And he keeps saying, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. He was very proud of her. Is she a physician? Okay, because he's saying, oh, my daughter, I'm so proud of her, I'm so proud of her.
He died with intestine cancer.
Okay. He's so beautiful. So beautiful. What a nice man. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Last night, Deborah asked me if my beliefs had changed after filming. My answer was still no. But when I looked deeper, I had to admit that something had changed for me. I'm still skeptical, but I can't deny spiritualism anymore.
Hi there, my name is William Lemoine. I am the director of the short film documentary Honoring a Legacy. This documentary is about my great-grandfather's artwork, told by my great-uncle Gerard Lewis, and I hope you enjoy.
In the canvas of time, there are those whose strokes paint the vivid colors of history. This is John E. Lewis, my great-grandfather. An artist, cartoonist, and a master of oil paintings. I have had the great privilege to be learning all about my great-grandfather, told by my great-uncle, son of John, Jerry Lewis.
His particular strength was an ability to, at a very, very young age, to learn the basics of drawing And over the course of his life, he was able to master a number of different media, first of all, from drawing, and drawing led to caricature, cartooning, learned the skills of oil portraiture. He also had a strong interest in the use of wood as a medium for sculpture. I think he had the skill and the patience and the desire and the discipline to be able to pace himself and to build up an ability to do these various forms of art. I think that it's really one of his greatest lessons that he passes on to your generation and the generations that follow you. Everything that he's done has portraiture involved. If it were a collection to go to the National Portrait Gallery, that would be wonderful. In my dreams, my wildest dreams, I would like to develop a catalog, a simple catalog that would have some of the stories that I associate with these different artifacts and these different works of art. Allow that to be used as a way of transmitting from one generation to another the work that he did, the contribution that he made, but also from a very personal point of view that this was a relative. You're going to have the question posed to you at some point in time, presumably, where you will have a son or a daughter that will say, tell me about my grandparents and my great-grandparents, and who were they? I would like to be able to contribute to that in terms of telling the story of this one person that I love dearly, my father, John Lewis, as the artist that he was. And not only the artist, but also his personality, his love of playing with words, where that playing with words came from. So if others have similar interests in knowing who preceded them in life, and I would encourage you to write it down and to even form a group of your own cohort of your age, your close cousins, to maybe sit down and just have an evening where you talk about this and ask yourself, where do you lie in the ancestry of your family, on the Lewis side, on the Lemoine side, on a personal interest in history side. It helps to understand the past, but it also helps to perhaps prepare one for the future. When I look back on the years preceding me, I can see a stream of events and activities and people that shaped my father and has shaped me. And it has to do with the art, it has to do with music, it has to do with writing. And when I look at the people and the personalities that are part of our family tree, it all kind of makes sense.
Hello, my name is Rama Al-Zu'bi, and I am the director-producer of The People United, created by not only just me, but by Isha Preche and Garrett Spafford as well. Free Palestine, and hope you enjoy.
I am a Filipino National Democratic organizer in Ottawa. I know that the history of Filipino and Palestinian solidarity goes back until even before the Nakba. I've supported with the Community Defense Fund. I've helped develop activists at Labor for Palestine because they just launched their Ottawa branch. So I've been there every so often just helping, talking about their work and what they need going forward. And I helped with their auction.
So I'm Hiba. I am an artist and at home kind of amateur artist, we can say. I've been interested in humans, which inspires my art forever, essentially. I've been following, of course, Palestine and trying to follow more like local Palestinian organizing groups and activists. The Labor for Palestine event was basically a space where the community could come together and have conversations about resistance and how we can come together and support Palestinian liberation and resistance.
Canada, which, as has been said, upholds Israeli imperialism and assault on Palestine, that we have the power to end this.
This fundraiser was for artists who donate their works so that the money used to purchase these pieces would go directly to the Community Defense Fund.
I painted this piece to try and channel my grief about Palestine and the genocide going on there, the atrocities going on there, to try and get those emotions out of my body, put them somewhere, and then be able to help in some way with the cause.
The Palestinian Youth Movement and its allies and solidarity organizations have been rallying for a ceasefire and for an arms embargo because people are dying. So that is necessary because it's life or death. And the Community Defense Fund is basically a fund we created to help support activists who have been essentially red-tagged.
It's reminding them that we already issued a warning and we should give an actual ticket. What he's doing.
And a ticket for what?
For the use of a megaphone. Incoming ticket!
You would get ticketed up to $490. Since December 23rd, this type of ticketing has continued and suppression from the police has actually escalated.
This guy? Tell me which guy did it. Hold up. Somebody was tough and elbowed a girl in the face.
As exhausting as it can be, it's painstaking work and it takes a lot of time. It's also, in a way, good for my mental health, at least, because living a life of hopelessness, of just assuming, oh, there's nothing you can do, people are just gonna push you around and that's it, it's not for me.
People flee the land! Justice is our demand! Justice is our demand! Gaza is under attack! What do we do? Send them back! Palestine is almost free! Palestine is almost free!
You either know me as TT, well the neighborhood knows me as TT, T, Tara Dawn, or Tara Vachon.
What I like to do the most, carrying the cords.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
So with my ADD, with my, because I get overwhelmed, I always do the cord because then it keeps me, keeps my brain focused, keeps me from freaking out. I don't freak out as much. It helps with my PTSD.
Because I had gone through some traumatic events over most of my life, actually. I was having a very hard time, as I like to say, humaning, because I didn't know who to trust. It was like Walking Dead to me. Who's a good human, who's not, kind of thing. And the rallies, for someone like me who gets a panic attack if people are tense at the grocery store, it was the complete opposite. I found my place. I would go there, and because you're surrounded by humans that care about human life, and you're with everyone, and you're with beautiful Jewish people, shalom, who say not in our name, and you're with beautiful Muslim brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum, who are there to love you too, and Christians, God bless, and Hindus, namaste, and Buddhists, and atheists even that just believe in good, and you're with all these humans who care. And I can never be with that big of a group, and I'm not scared.
The majority of my day, it's making art to help educate people. It's talking to people, understanding their issues, and helping them, connected back to the larger root cause of imperialism. It's, conducting surveys. It's, holding an art showcase. It's things like that, which, are very innocuous, but the unfortunate truth is because it's a threat to the imperialist systems from which, Canada and the United States' 1% benefit from, it can be tagged as terrorism very easily. And I think we've seen this right now with all the mobilization for Palestine. You show up at a rally, you put a flag on your laptop, a sticker of a flag on your laptop, bam, you're a terrorist.
This is kind of referencing the whole world is grieving in some way or another about something, about the same thing, and it definitely is connected to Palestine in that sense, but that piece was specifically Palestine.
To build collective life, has become really important. And what I mean by collective life is that we are integrated into each other's lives. We know each other's strengths, weaknesses, worries, struggles, and we help each other through that, and we support each other through all these issues.
Everyone to do themselves, do me, YOLO, just do ourselves. That is not working. It's not working. Like, we have to come together and do what we can, you know.
I think it's great that we're seeing so many people come together for such an important cause, and it's not just one cause, it's not just the liberation of the Palestinians, but it's a whole decolonialist movement that's seeking to just open up humanity to its fullest, best potential as one community, a global community even.
I love it, honestly. It gives me hope, especially after seeing the Canadian government being complicit in the genocide, continually helping and abetting and providing support, military support, bureaucratic support as well. It's important for us to come and say this is not right, and as Canadians, we don't agree with what's happening. I've become ashamed to be a Canadian citizen after all the complicity in the genocide.
I think if the struggle of Palestinian didn't move you, the killing of children, the killing of family. I bring my whole family here with my children. If I'm in their position, and then the whole humanity is just watching, what I gonna feel? But it's if the struggle of Palestinian for 75 years of struggle didn't move you, what kind of human? You have to question yourself what kind of heart we have.
It's just connecting with the people around you and genuinely supporting each other and supporting each other's behavior. That's like really why organizing, I feel like, is such a community, because that's like the point of organizing. It's trying to take care of your people and all people. You don't have this question in you of whether that human being is someone you can connect with still. And it stays consistent. And in fact, because of my autoimmune, I was sick and I couldn't go to a couple, and I'm telling you, those are my worst weeks. That I didn't go, I spent the whole week depressed. I never feel stronger and more connected than when I go to these rallies.
The urgent call of Palestine. Let us heed the urgent call of Palestine. Let us heed the urgent call of Palestine.
Everything started about the same time as Bytown. So Ottawa back in the 1820s was called Bytown. It was basically kind of a settlement where British officers and British soldiers, engineers would come and stay during the constructions of the Rideau Canal. And then at some point things became slightly more permanent. Some priests were coming into the region to perform baptisms, marriages, and things like that, but they did not have a place of worship in itself. And then as the little town grew slightly, Colonel Bai thought of giving some land to the Catholic community in Upper Town, so about west of Parliament Hill. But since most of them lived in Lower Town, they just abandoned the plot in Upper Town, and then they waited for a more appropriate piece of land. And so this is the exact same spot as today. Showed the unity between the Christians of the region. They gathered some funds to build a stone church, and then eventually they started building the church. The cornerstone was eventually laid in 1841, and then they ended up building the church, and it's basically the main church that we see today. But over the years they've expanded it a little bit. As priests came, they all had different ideas of what the church would look like, and so they changed their plans every once in a while. So there's this little mix and match of different architectural styles.
Near the altar dedicated to the Sacred Heart, there's a commemorative plaque there that commemorates the laying of the cornerstone of the building. And so it mentions the who's who and who was the queen, who was present when the cornerstone of the cathedral was built. And a cornerstone, you'd think it would be at the corner of a building, right? But in this particular case, it's not. And that is because when the church was being built, so this would have been in the 1860s, it was built originally as a rectangle, and so that would have been the corner of the church where that plaque is located. One of the rectors at the time had an idea. He wanted to build what was called an apse. It means the rounded part of any church, and so where the sanctuary is in a church. And so that was something the rector wanted to do. And so he asked the bishop, because the bishop makes the decisions around here, could we do this? And the bishop said there wasn't enough money. He waited until the bishop was away. Many times bishops had to go to Rome at that time by boat. And so he was away for a very, very long time. And so he took advantage of that and tore down the back wall and began to build the apse that we see today with the beautiful sanctuary. So the church is not just its buildings, it's also the people that are in the building. And so we also are a work in progress. We're also a construction zone sometimes in our own spiritual lives. We want to have an open door policy where people can just feel free to walk in here, to spend some time with our Lord, to spend some time in peace and prayer, time of recollection too. It's the kind of place we want to build here in Ottawa, that it could be the heart and soul of the city. That's what we envision when we envision a church. It's where the presence of Jesus is.
A predecessor of mine was saying that it is never boring at the cathedral, and I would agree with that. There's so many people coming from different backgrounds, some of them religious, some of them others. A way for us to connect a bit better with tourists was to create a space where they would feel at peace. We have had the initiative, helped by the Archdiocese, of using and transforming some of our space into a cafe. And so our Café des Tours is a play on word as well on some of the realities here. So it is interesting to have all kinds of people come in. I can connect with people, and hopefully our space can help people connect with God. So one of the questions that people ask us often is, when was the cathedral finished to be built? A clever person, I heard him once say, that is not finished. And at the same time, the church is not stones as much as people. We are called to be the church, and so we're called to be together. And sometimes we need fixing. We need to be glued together. This is why the sense of community is so important, and that this is always something that needs to be built better and better. And so this is an invitation in your family, in your work groups, to try to put together the efforts and the talents of each and every one, and to continue to build.
Hello there. My name is Matthew. I'm the producer and director.
I'm Sophia, the director of photography.
And we're the team behind Migrating for Miracles, a cafe journey. We hope you enjoy.
My name is Lisa Sare. I'm from Manila, Philippines. I used to be an executive back home before we moved here in Canada. Tamis, it has turned out to be Tamis, but it's actually Tamis, which means sweet in Tagalog. My oldest daughter came up with that name. Initially, Tamis was born because my youngest daughter was diagnosed with cancer, and before that, we all have our own individual jobs. We said, oh, no, everybody can't work. We need to spend time with her and be with her during the time that she's going through the process. So that's the beginning of Tamis.
I think the culture about Tamis is because it is a family-owned and Filipino restaurant. It feels like a family. Everybody's welcome, and you get to really learn about the Filipino culture through our food. And I think it's just learning about the different ways you can incorporate the Filipino culture with also the Western environment.
It started as a family business. So we want the culture to be family-oriented. Even with our employees, our staff, we want to make them feel at home, to be a member of Tamis family.
Oh, Tita Lisa.
Tita Lisa, oh, she's like my mom.
Is literally my Filipino mom.
She's always asking, how are you? How's your week been? How's your day been?
We always joke, me and her, that I'm her daughter, and whenever customers always also walk in, they always tell me like, oh, can I speak to your mother? Referring to Tita Lisa.
And she's always checking in on all of us, and she's always making sure, are we fed?
We sit down, every single person here, all staff sit together to eat. It makes me feel loved and cared for.
We always do that when there's like a gap in time, when it's busy, when we have a time, we eat our lunch or dinner together as a family. So that's how it is. Also fresh food. Shout out to Tita, thank you.
With the customers as well, we would give them the best service and we would make them feel at home. That's why they keep coming back. I have customers that we knew since they were like in school until they got married, until they have kids, and they would still send us pictures and tell us what's going on with them. So it's like an achievement to have this deep connection with your customers. So it's family. That's the culture we want.
I've been coming to Temis consistently for about a year, maybe 2 years. And what keeps me back is the food and the people.
The thing about Filipino food that stands out to me is that it's my culture and it just has a really good taste, especially since it's very nostalgic to me and I grew up with that food.
The food was great. It brought me straight back to the Philippines. This is exactly what Filipino food tastes like, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like it's very family-based and just feels very familiar and just cozy, just very inviting.
What I would wish for Temis Cafe to continue doing would be to keep up the family atmosphere. I think one of the strongest points of Temis is that it really feels like a family-run business and that people care about what they're doing, and I would hate for that to be lost, so I hope they keep that up.
I mean, we still want the Filipino cuisine or Temis to be like a go-to restaurant, We're getting there slowly, if not with the pandemic.
There. My name is Kingsley Oboro, the director-producer for the documentary film Bread Beyond Borders, The Agege Connection. Enjoy. And don't forget, Agege bread. Bread in Agege. I'm experiencing my very first snow. I mean, I've never seen snow before in all of my life. I see it in the movies, but right here. Look at it, the magic is happening right here. My name is Kingsley Oboro. I am from Nigeria, West Africa. I hold a bachelor's degree in theater arts from Delta State University, Abraka, and a master's degree from Sikkim Manipur University, India. Describing Nigeria, I would say over 95% of the houses are brick, and none have heaters because of the warm climate year-round. Nigeria boasts over 500 languages and over 218 million people. Back home, I have a daughter by the name of Olivia. She is 6 and means the world to me. I cherish every moment spent with her, and yes, I miss her dearly. Despite the challenges, Nigerians exude strength, hustling to survive, and that includes me. One remarkable trait is their ability to find joy in life. No matter the circumstances, they are rooted in the communal living spirit. Talking about that communal living in Nigeria, it's an amazing moment for most people because the people are the strength of the country. If you need something, let's say you ran out of pepper or salt and you were like preparing this amazing meal, you could just go over to your neighbor's door, knock or punch the bell. Right there, they will give it to you. My father would always brag about how his brother would come over to see him, no phone calls, and they will point out like the biggest chicken, slaughter that chicken, prepare this amazing meal. It's like a feast. Now that I'm in Canada, how can I capture my Nigerian culture that is missing from my life? How can I make Canada feel like home? Maybe it's the food?
My favorite food is white rice and stew. White rice paired with anything, you're gonna find me there. Coming here, there were a couple of things I looked for when I got to this country. Nigerian restaurants and Agege bread.
Well, I would say my comfort food is bread and beans. Jesus was right there. He was holding bread and he said, "This is the bread of life." He could have said the donut of life, but he said the bread of life. What does that tell you? Bread is life.
So when it comes to bread, it just reminds me of my childhood. It's Saturday morning. My mom delegates the jobs. Who's in charge of getting bread? Who's in charge of making the pap? And then the next thing is food. You have your akara, you have your pap, but you just have to have bread. If there's no bread, then it's not a complete meal.
Agege bread comes from a small community in the city of Lagos called Agege. Hence the name Agege bread. The bakeries owned in Nigeria that produce Agege bread have been bakeries that have been passed from generation to generation, like family-owned businesses. So I would say yes, Agege bread is deeply etched in community. It's like that cultural connection that brings people together.
Coming here, finding that Agege bread was amazing because I feel closer to home, like something I grew up on, I'm able to get here.
You could be working like a factory worker, building cement and the brick dust on you, and you see the lady with the Agege bread and I like, Agege bread. You just get some, eat it, take some water, and you are good for the day. Because in Nigeria, we have like this table where people have to sit down as a family. And when they do, you know, some would, you know, dip it in tea. Some would have like jam, butter, chocolate. Sometimes you could even put like akara. Yeah, akara is like a bean flour that is fried with oil.
The one thing that comes to my mind when I hear Agege bread is my brother and I saving up money to buy extra bread when my mom is not around, because obviously if you've had bread in the morning, why are you having bread again? You're not allowed to do that. Agege bread makes me happy, just the softness, the taste.
While I was at the African store, because I go there a lot, I just walk around and try to make sure that I get what will make my bread interesting.
In our recipes, first of all, in baking, we do not call them recipes, we call them formulas. And that's why in the last step, it does not say adjust seasoning, because once the bread is baked, it's baked. You cannot adjust anything in there.
How Agege bread is made is something I wish I knew.
I've never seen anyone make Agege bread from scratch. You know, come to think of it, to me, when you just hear Agege, it's just like it falls from the sky. It's just too good.
I have tried to make it before. It did come out nice, but not Agege bread. I think it's a secret recipe, and I think they should tell us.
Something which is dry flour, you mix it with water and yeast and sugar and salt, and you convert that into a piece of dough ball, which then, you know, moves from one part, from a small dough ball to the leavened dough ball to a bread, because there's nothing which is more appealing or salivating than fresh piece of bread coming straight from that oven.
Since I came to Canada, I have had to meet several people from different places, and we have become friends today. We've had laughters, we've had funny moments. Eating Agege bread makes me want more and more and more of those moments.
You just have to kind of do things together, then like you have to build a community. That's what I miss about back home. Here, not so much. Everybody's on their own. Nobody wants to invade too much. Nobody wants to come together.
Bread is calling me, and I need to answer the call.
What I would really like is for us to build more of a community here. Everybody does not have to be by themselves. We rise by lifting others.
Agege bread is more than just a bread. The fact that it comes from a community, that's already a message. That's already something strong. It's made me to realize that I would do this over and over again. You know the matter. Agege bread. Bread, Agege. And through the delicious journey of Agege bread, I found a vibrant community that echoes the warmth and spirit of Nigeria right here in Canada.
Good in the office, good in the home, good on the streets for every one of us. We all need it, and we've got it. Bread Agege, oh yeah. Good in the office, yeah. Good in the home, good on the streets for every one of us. Yeah. We all need it, and we've got it. Bread Agege, oh yeah.
Hello, my name is Hiltz-Andre. I'm the director and the producer to the Minwaashin Lodge Food Bank documentary. I really hope you like it.
How would you describe Minwaashin to someone who's never heard of it before?
Minwaashin provides services to women and their children who are fleeing domestic violence.
If they're fleeing domestic violence, our whole service, like we have counseling, we'll refer them to counselors, we'll refer them to court support. We do it all pretty much.
I would describe it as like a very comfortable, like homey place. You know, we always try to make it comfortable for clients.
Everything about this place is just about being included and embraced and just accepted.
This is an amazing place. The food bank, to be able to help people that are in need of food, child services, all the things that they offer, I think is amazing. I look at this as a home away from home, and it's not for me, Minwaashin Lodge, it's for the women. But to know that I can make a difference by being here and helping to do the things that I do makes me sleep better at night. You know?
Why do you personally think it's important to have an Indigenous food bank?
Honestly, families struggle with food. It's so hard, like especially with the rise and everything lately. Like affording food, affording gas, affording like anything in the city right now, even just rent.
You can't buy the food at the grocery store because it's so expensive. They have to make a choice between a fresh head of lettuce and something that's not so healthy.
A high number of our families experience poverty. So, I mean, they're just basically getting by. We've partnered with the food bank for 27 years, and we have been providing food bank every 2 weeks since then.
Our food bank has been running since 1994, and we still do it every single week. And there's mushrooms back there too.
There's one more of this. Do I put it in?
We should have access to fresh food, to healthy food.
We just try to make it a little bit easier for families to just have like a decent meal on their tables for their family, you know?
Why I work as hard as I do is because I know what it is to struggle as a single mom to be able to feed multiple children. Food bank is a really big way of giving back to the community and helping them out, because it's important that our children are well fed, because holistically, if you're fed well and if you have a good sleep and you have lots of love, then you'll just grow like a beautiful, beautiful plant.
In my heart of hearts, I always wanted to somehow help people, but I never took the steps because I went through addiction for about 3 years. And I was like a tornado. It was coming time to get a placement. I couldn't. I had a meltdown, right? Stress, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what was me, party on my couch. I just sobbed. And then this came within Flo hired me without meeting me. And it was divine. It was supernatural. It was greater. It was God. It was the universe. And I'm about to cry. So once I got off the junk, as I call it, I had to figure out what to do with my life. What did I learn? Because everything happens for a reason. Here I am, 19 months clean. So, yeah. So we're like, what do we do with these? To get this many women with all different backgrounds, all different upbringing, like everything, and they're all aligned. To me, my brain doesn't grasp it. Even though I'm in the midst of it, I'm just, how is this possible? Going to the right car? I'm like, this place seems made up. It's that beautiful. I feel embraced, I feel respected. That's just my personal, but I see it given to everybody that walks through the doors, whether you're a staff or a client. It's a place of love. It's a physical building and manifestation of love. It's yeah, that's the only way you can describe it.
We received one of the grants from Ottawa Food Bank in recognition that we have culturally specific food out to our families. So for the Inuit community, we'd buy a mukta, which is whale, caribou and Arctic char, moose, and sturgeon and salmon and or deer. So it's really neat that we're going to be able to distribute some country foods to our families. That's really exciting.
I come here for family programs. Come here for supports and a parenting class. It really helps a lot. Nothing goes waste. And yeah, we love it. The food. Food is life,
I'm a local musician here in the city of Ottawa, playing a few bands, Resist the Throne, Space Between.
I'm the singer lead guitarist of Resist the Throne, and I'm a student at Carleton University for music right now.
Resist the Throne was actually originally Rohan's solo project.
And it started during the early-ish stages of the pandemic, and I noticed that a lot of my friends were struggling with their mental health, so I started writing songs about mental health.
And just dealing with emotions in general, and in a more direct way, which I do like to do that too, like especially when I work with Resist the Throne. The metal is a lot of, especially in the music, is aggressive, so a lot of it centers around like expelling aggression and dealing with maybe more negative emotions, and I think it's a really healthy way to deal with negative emotion.
People think of Ottawa, they don't always think of like a big music city, right? Like somewhere like Toronto, for example.
A lot of people see this city as more of a government town and more of a family town too. So it is somewhat tight-knit, but it's kind of nice in a sense. Like it's a lot of artists supporting other artists.
We've had really positive experiences with most of the bands we've played with. It's always great to kind of look out into the audience and then see some people from your favorite local bands kind of like coming out and watching you, and then you go to their shows too.
It's a lot of people that are in a similar place in their career and in terms of their goals. So it's nice to work with other people who are super passionate about music and care about music and want to see each other succeed. I have 5 classes at Carleton, so weekly I'm at school almost every day and playing in ensembles at school, playing on other people's performances and gigs and stuff. So a lot of just rehearsing with folks around the city, and then a lot of teaching too. Like I teach at Long McQuaid 3 or 4 days a week, so I have around 40 students. It is tiring and sometimes I regret it, but business-wise, just like money. It's so much money. Gear costs so much money. Traveling costs so much money. Recording costs so much money. And like I said, it's not a lot of it at our level of the industry. So it's a lot of figuring out, like, how can we make enough to hopefully not even sustain ourselves, but just sustain like the bands, you know what I mean? Like, just so they can kind of become, even if we're not making money, just have them so that we're not actively constantly losing money on them, you know what I mean? And you have to remember, like, you're chasing the dream and there's bigger goals.
You're giving on stage is met back with the audience, and they're super into it too. They're moshing around and stuff, and they're screaming back at you. It's a great feeling for sure to connect with the audience.
There's no like feeling that really replicates it. It's a mix of like nerves and adrenaline and excitement and the reaction that other people give when you're playing well, and the reaction from your bandmates and being able to create music.
Go out to shows. Like to check out at your local bars and your local music venues.
They all have live events happening all the time, and in every city it's like that.
Just go out, even if you haven't heard of any of the bands. All the bands who are really big started out as really small bands too. So go check out the music scene in your area. I'm sure you'll find some really cool, really awesome bands. Yeah.
Some people, they don't really appreciate how far away things are. I can see a quasar that's about 10 billion light years away. At the time it was built, it was one of the largest amateur-built telescopes in Canada.
Oh, hi there.
I'm Robert Dick, a mechanical engineer for about 55 years, but my passion is astronomy and going out under the night sky. So I wanted to have an observatory where everything was here, I didn't forget anything, and everything was right there at your fingertips. That turned into a workshop where I could then build things. So over about 2 years or so, I designed the thing and then started buying the materials. And it turned out at that time, building materials are relatively inexpensive. So after designing it, I bought the materials, and myself, my father, and a friend of mine helped put it all together. And it took, I guess, about a whole summer to put in the general structure. Then in the winter time, I did the paneling and fitted things out in the inside. Then in the late spring, I then moved the telescope here and then mounted it on the roof and began observing that summer. Telescopes were difficult to buy when I was thinking of this project, and so you pretty well had to build it yourself. I wouldn't want to just buy something out of a store. First of all, you're paying somebody else to have all the fun of designing it. So I ended up designing it. And so the telescope itself is kind of like a Rob Dick design, though admittedly it takes a lot of design features from a number of other telescopes that I've seen, professional telescopes and amateur telescopes as well. So it took a total of about 12 months to do the construction. To do it now, building materials are far too expensive. When I come up to use the telescope, it used to be that I'd take spectrum of the stars, I'd do photography with this telescope, but now I find I just come up and I just look through the telescope, put an eyepiece there, and I just pan around the sky. When you look through the telescope, there's always a hint of adventure.
I'm Nodin Hiltz-Andre. I'm 21 years old and I'm an Algonquin film student. I only started working out around 2022. So I've only been working out for about 1.5 years, or almost 2 years now. So when I started the gym, it was mostly a means to an end and not something that I think I would fall in love with. It's turned into liking the process more than I want to hit a goal or a destination. But the gym does have a kind of a deeper meaning to it. It symbolizes growth. You go till you can't do it, then you rest, then you come back. After you have a setback, I think re-adopting the beginner mindset of, I'm a beginner, I'm here to learn. What's great about the gym is you can go in with the most weird, angry mindset and leave happy as a clam because you've done something for yourself. And when you do things for yourself, it tends to leave you feeling good about yourself because you're doing not even yourself a favor, but your future self a favor. Because it's the gym, there's no real end goal. You keep getting better. I think I've done the most mental growth at the gym. You put away a lot of these ideas of I'm not enough here. Really, you don't become enough just by lifting more, but showing yourself that you can. Yeah, that's where you experience a lot of personal growth and showing yourself that you can do things. People are afraid to go to the gym because they're afraid they're gonna do something wrong. But the only thing you can do wrong is want to do something and not actually do it. I would put that fear away and just have fun. The gym is a very supportive place. The gym is a community, and every gym has their own community. I mean, I met some of the coolest people at the gym. Everyone here is going through the same thing that you did, is you want to improve yourself. So everyone's very, very, very understanding. It's very pleasant. You just got like, just the most nice, understanding, passionate people. That's probably the coolest part of the gym.
Hi, I'm Vivian. I'm currently learning online course marketing right now. I'm keen into the film and the media production, applying for this program before, but my profile didn't pass, so I can't get enrolled for this program. For this documentary, my husband is the cameraman of the spiritual medium, and I want to be on site, so the director asked me to take some footage of the behind the scenes. I can't say I truly believe the medium, but I believe she has some ability to sense something.
I feel like I can't breathe, or there's something going on with swallowing. Who is that?
I truly don't know too much about my elder sister because they will invoke my parents' sadness. I just know how she passed away, just drowned in the river 40 years ago, I think.
How old was she?
I think it's about 6 years old.
So why do you think your parents kept this secret from you?
Maybe they just don't let me feel the sadness or how to understand the death for young children. My parents are the best parents, I think.
So you love your parents?
Sure, absolutely. I love them very deeply. If they have choice, just try to choose themselves or me, they definitely choose me to give their lives. In that period, China only allow a family have one child. If they have 2 children, they have to pay a lot of money to the government. If my sister still alive, I won't have those chance to experience this wonderful world.
Would you like to hug her?
Sure, absolutely. To give her a hug, hold her tightly. She must be happy when she was a child. She must be.